Hello, everybody. Let's open up Steam chat. Not that anyone's ever going to type there. Done. And now let's get to work. Hey, Skeleseller. Hey, Dig It. Hey, Kevin. Okay, so remaining abilities, you have to do close call. When at less than X% life, gain even more power, or maybe they attack faster. I think gaining more power probably makes sense. I don't want to do this. First of all, I need to figure out, is it power or attack faster? And yeah, I don't know. I think power is probably better. Yeah, I think power is probably better. Let's do power. Oh, also, if they get oh god, I hadn't thought about this. If they get lifesteal through the cleric, they'll probably heal themselves to full like constantly. Okay, well now how do we want to code this? And how do the levels change? You gain Y% power. So how about when at less than 25% life, gain 25%, 50% power? Yeah, something like that could probably be pretty good. We could try that at least, but I still don't know how we're going to code this. We have stat computations get power. This just checks for every buff that can return a power value. Oh, okay, then never mind. This should be pretty easy to code. Power buff? Yeah, we just make a power buff that's conditional. Oh, that's simple. Yeah. Okay, well, let's go do that then. All right, so close call, ability ID. Why did that not work? Did I type that wrong? Close call. So this needs to be a passive ability that grants a buff. So let's go look at improved fungal spread and save this as close call. Close call. All right, passive ability granting buff. What is anything that inherits from this that also has a thing that I want? This is pretty good. Cool, so let's go use that. Put that over here. Okay, that goes above data. So we want a list of power bonuses, and then a public static const float life threshold. Okay, the power bonus is going to be 25% and then 50%. Hypnotic bind. Cannot be marked static. Sure, that's fine. Okay, this looks good. So what's the description for this? When at less than a certain amount of life, gain a certain amount of power. There's another thing that does this, the warrior. What does their thing say? While at less, so this is what we're going to use. And we just got to format all of this correctly. While at less than, I guess let's put this over here. While less than life threshold health, increase all damage, increase power by power increase. Good. Name of this ability is close call. And this is, I guess we're saying it's power bonus. Do we ever do that anywhere? Power bonus? We do it in a few places. It's pretty much the same as a damage bonus. Man. Okay. All right, so now to fill this thing out, this is get power header. And this is power. That's fine. This is not fine. This is power bonuses. Get level of the current thing. Close call display name. That's not even correct. This is the life threshold being passed in. And that's not even correct. This has got to be like format number. Yeah, $, like that. Format number. Another $. God, this is ridiculous. Can it just figure it out for me? It's got to be a P0. I'll just copy paste this. All right, decrease all damage taken by power increase. Power increase. Yeah, that works, but this is kind of a stupid way of writing things. So float power increase equals that. And then just replace that thing. Don't need the extra outer ones. Correct. We do not. Yeah, thank you. All right, now what did I mess up? There. Okay, syntax highlighting. Oh, it's correct because that's a constant that we use there. All right, close call does not implement the thing. We got to go do that. Hey, Freak Technic, what temperature is it there in Fahrenheit? I like you do the work instead of me doing the work. Got him. And then we need to return an effect. This is going to be a new effect. I guess the close call power buff. Oh, this needs to be public. Oh, fine. I'll look it up. 84 degrees. That's not too bad outside. But I'm guessing inside. Oh, at 10 p.m. Yeah, that's pretty bad. But yeah, it's the inside temperature that matters. And I am guessing you have no sort of air conditioning. All right, so we have power buff. Do we have anything else like this? Cloak of Shadows, yeah. Empowered spellcasting. Absolute power increase. Why do we do this? Why is it so ridiculous? I have to work during the day. Today was a day off. Haven't bothered. Well, you could just turn it on now, right? It'd be fine. How cold will it get during the night? You living in a desert? Okay, so let's save this power buff as close call power buff. As in, you almost got me, power buff. That was a close call. All right, so that's what this is going to return. Close call power buff. And what does this need to return? Power increase in duration? Don't we not need this? Duration is infinite. It doesn't have a lifetime. What? Why did I do that? What? Hold on a second. Where did I copy this from? I copied this. Oh, from power buff. Okay, never mind. I meant to copy it from this. Passive ability granting buff. Powered spellcasting buff. This is just an effect that takes in two things. Yeah, that's all this should be. An effect. Hold on a second. This is very confusing. Effect 1, 2, 3, 4. So the ID actually needs to be a different ID here. I wonder why. All right, well, close call power buff then. Let's add that in. And then effect type dot buff. Okay, we're getting there. So get power increase. Oh, drat. This is not good. We gotta store this based on what their life is. So we need to know anytime their life changes. This is not good. We should just take in the entity. Oh, we have the entity. What am I talking about? This should be very simple. I am a smart cookie. Okay. So we need to get their current life value. Health component HC equals get. It won't go below 68. I think we only barely made it to that last night. Oh, wow. It's a structure in my window to adapt a window air conditioner to European windows. So wait, if you had just reported the temperature in Fahrenheit, your machine would have worked? I'm saying this to a hot and frustrated freak technic. It's like, I don't have time for these games, Adam. All right, so if your percent life is greater than the close call threshold, then we just return 0. Otherwise, we return an actual number. Hey, Goose. Here to say hi. People leave. Are you leaving already? If so, hi and bye. Yeah, so when it switches to C. That's what I said. That's why everyone just run it in Fahrenheit. All right, this is a percentage. We got to convert this to an absolute number, which happens somewhere, and I don't know where. Here it is. Oh, that was easy. Yeah. Okay, so level of close call is equal to that. This is data.id. That's very interesting because we technically can do that. But I think it's better to do ability ID. What is it? Ability ID? I don't even remember anymore. Yeah, close call. Okay, so that goes like so. Level of close call. Actually, we can do this no matter what. We don't even need to know this percent life thing here. Oh, I guess we kind of do. So return this, but convert it to an actual thing. So this is the percent change. Float percent power increase is equal to that. And then the absolute power is equal to this, and we just return that. Easy. Going to a bike ride. Just gave Gus to dog walker. Cool. Cool. Well, enjoy your bike ride. And what is this? Parameter node is captured in the state of the enclosing type and its value is also passed to the base constructor. Value may be captured by that as well. Why does this not complain about this? I'm confused. It's the exact same code in both spots. Maybe I need to rebuild. I just want the yellow squiggly to go away. Did it work? I don't understand what's different about these two things. It's not like I disabled that warning or something. The code works. Yeah, what did I do wrong? All right, let's just compare these two things very closely. So the parameters are exactly the same, affected entity and source entity. Those are fine. Then we have an effect ID, which, while they're not the same, represent the same general thing. Then affected entity, then source entity, then buff. Well, why would it only complain about one of these things then? I'm going to reload the whole thing. Is it still going to have a yellow squiggly? Oh, come on. What's going on? Capture that. Why is it not a problem here? What if I type a letter here? I truly do not know. Oh, is it because I use a lowercase affected entity here? Oh, that's why. Okay, it doesn't have to do with this line. Yeah. Because you use it for that. Yep. I forgot. I was being silly. Okay, I think we're good. So if your life is lower than the threshold, then multiply whatever you have by the power that you should get. How do we test this? Well, first, let's give him the ability. I guess we just make the life threshold like 90% or something. Yeah, so I turn this into 99%. So as long as they're not at, we can make it something like that. As long as they're not at max health, then they're gonna get a power bonus. So we just need to turn invincibility on, and it should be fine. Imagine if the vial was bigger. Yeah, I think they could have been clearer. Well, maybe. I don't know. It was my fault for sure. Okay, so we don't have close call. So it won't modify our damage. What's our damage? 38. So we should see 38 show up on the bats. So we're just going to speed this up and make this bigger. And there's a 38. And it should just always do 38. Perfect. Yep, great. So now we finish the battle. Now we put a point into this. We don't have a point. Now we get a point. We put it into that. So now we do 25% more damage. So instead of 38, it's going to do 47 because it'll round up. Yeah. So now it's doing 47. Maybe put another point in. Although this is not really testing anything at this point. And it should do, what, 56 or something? Yeah. Okay, but that's because we set the life threshold that high. Now we toggle invincibility, and now they'll never get to that life threshold. So now they'll still do 38 again. Yeah, good. It's working. All right, well, that was easy. That was all we had to do. Yeah, let's go check this in. Oh, yeah, I should look at the tooltip again. Let's just make sure it's clear. While at less than 100% health, let's just rebuild this. Should say 25%, but I was testing it out. While at less than 25% health, increase power by 0%. Oh, it shouldn't say by X%. It should just say increase power. What does stealth say? Wait, no. What is... Your senses heighten. Yeah, I think it's just say increase power. Your power is increased. And we don't even need this here now. Yeah, let's try that. Man, I streamed for some number of years. I don't know. I'll just say like 5 with no AC in the room other than the portable unit, which is super loud. And that was uncomfortable. And now where we live, we have proper AC, and it is glorious. While at less than 25% health, your power is increased. Yeah, this is great. So we're starting to see some synergy come together here. It's hard to tell because all the icons are the same. We spec'd 100% into yellow smiley face icons. But this is why I didn't have Quickie Joe do these do the icons ahead of time, because we've already changed the abilities a couple times. All right, close call power buff. Yeah, this is pretty reasonable. Okay, let's go check it in. Add close call ability. Haven't had a chance to try the next best demo. Can I expect Adam art? No, there's no Adam art in the demo. The demo is all polished stuff. This is no longer demo stuff. We're working on like the launch version of the game essentially at this point. So if I ever do push a version, I need to stop this character from showing up completely. Okay, one more ability done. Next ability, enter a battle with X% of your regular cooldowns. Maybe this only has one level and it lowers the cooldown to 0. Maybe this is also when you come back from the dead. If it's when you come back from the dead, then this is crazy, isn't it? We have to assume that when you get the mushroom character, that your like minimum level is going to be 4 or 6. So you'll have probably 3 skill points. And what does that mean? 4 skills. So you'd have most of your skills available to you. So you'd be able to get these synergies to the point where this is very powerful. Every X attacks go into a frenzy and attack at Y% faster. This should just be get an extra attack. I don't know. I don't even know how we'll show this. 2 levels. Okay, well let's keep thinking about this one for a second. Enter a battle with X% of your regular cooldown. So how would we frame this? We'd say something like, after entering a battle or dying during a battle, your next spore cloud will be used immediately. This is like stupidly powerful. And I'm not even sure how cooldowns work after you die. We've never had that happen in the game. We've never needed to reset cooldowns. Oh man. So then this doesn't have too much of a benefit, I suppose. Okay, we may want to reset cooldowns when we do this. If we don't, then this ability just has less of a reason to exist. Like this skill is their only active skill and it has a 7-second cooldown. So we're basically saying if we only modify this, that we're saying remove upwards of 7 seconds from a battle. But realistically, in longer battles, this is going to remove like half a second, 2 seconds. So this character is about battling quickly. Oh, also, the way the Heart of the Forest should probably work is... Oh, it already does work that way. Okay. I am still a little bit torn about this and its efficacy. All right, well, let me just write out my thoughts. So, preparedness. Problem, if this only affects the beginning of battle, then it can only save up to 7 seconds. If it works after death, then we need to change reviving so that it resets your cooldowns. At which point the mushroom character probably isn't great. It could just lower the cooldown of this. I don't think I like that either. Or we could just get rid of this ability completely. It was only a 1 level ability. The mushroom could only have 6 abilities, maybe. Lower your cooldown by 6 seconds. What if this did something else then? Yeah, because I like the beginning of battle thing. I don't like changing how revival work, but I don't think this is compelling enough if we just modify the beginning of battles. We could lump in another change to this. Like the first spore cloud you use in a battle has a cooldown of only 1 second and has plus power. Yeah, that could work. Do you think it's a good idea to pay for private game dev lessons? I don't think so, no. Unless you're talking about, I mean, when you say private lessons, okay, let me reframe. I think it depends on cost. I think it depends on your teacher. And I think it depends on, of course, how much value you feel you're going to get out of it and whether there's any sort of contract. Like, can you do 2 of these lessons and try it out? Because what I would worry about is the feedback loop on game dev is quite long. So it might be hard for you to evaluate that the lessons are helping you. Like, let's say you're trying to make a game and the time it takes is going to be a year. So you take these private lessons and you start coding stuff. You have no idea if that code is going to be good code or not. I mean, maybe 4 months down the line, you find out, ooh, this caused a lot of problems for me. Granted, it's not your teacher who's coding it for you, but they're probably steering you in the right direction. So yeah, do you have any more details on this? Hey, Goose. Other Goose. And hey, Badada. What is that first emote? Oh, it's a dog. Oh my god, I thought it was a monster. I couldn't tell what this thing is. And I was seeing this like ant creature. It's a little smaller on my other monitor than it is on this monitor, but that's no excuse. Yeah, dog peek. I realize it now. All right, I think I like this idea. I think this is pretty cool. And maybe we say this benefits from close call even when you're not at low life. No, it should benefit on top of that. Okay, so upon starting a new battle, the cooldown of Spore Cloud is... I guess the first Spore Cloud used in a battle has a cooldown of 1 second and gets... That's not technically true. The cooldown would mean after you use it. So the first Spore Cloud used in a battle is used after 1 second instead of 7 and gets plus X% power. Yeah. I don't like this because it means we'd have to reset cooldowns on normal revivals, which would probably make this character bad. Do you have any abilities that sacrifice health for damage? This character sort of does that. Their main ability makes them take damage, which I just haven't coded yet. And then they have an ability that when they're at lower life, they get more power. So that's sort of what's happening with this class. And then when they die, they can revive themselves. And when they die, other things can happen too. So it's kind of cool synergy in this class. All right, so this is how we're going to code this then. The first Spore Cloud used in battle is used after 1 second instead of 7 seconds and gets plus X% power. Okay, let's go code this now. Preparedness. They don't have to pay taxes. Only well dead, but they revive themselves and they have to pay taxes again. All right, so what are we going to do for this? This is just going to be another passive, and it's only got one level. It could have multiple levels. We could so level 0, you have plus 0% power because you don't have a skill, and a 7-second cooldown. Level 1 could be something like plus 30% power and a 4-second cooldown. And level 2 could be plus 60% power and a 1-second cooldown. You know what? I think I want to do it that way. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to paste that there. Okay, so how did that change what I wanted to do, though? What was I thinking of? We got to modify the cooldown, which means that we got to do something like what Quick Strike did. This had an initialize, get the cooldown, and get cooldown is going to be based on another ability that you might have. This is a pretty cool class. Also, it's been fun to code this. It really hasn't been too bad so far, but it's going to get worse when we do Revival. That's going to be tough because we've never done that before. And it's also going to be tough when we get to Frenzy. We're saving the most difficult things for the end. Wait, how many do we have here? 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, so we should probably put this up here too if we want an easy one. Okay. So let's go make our new ability. What is it close to? We don't need a buff for this, do we? No, it only affects... No, we do need a buff for this. It's going to affect your next Spore Cloud and just give you plus power for that one usage. How else would we code that if we didn't do it that way? I guess Spore Cloud itself could keep track of whether it's been cast. Then we don't need a buff in here. But then when a battle starts, we need to know that. Does any other ability work that way? Wild Shot, maybe? No, those are all cons. No, I don't think we store anything inside of abilities. I think we store them in buffs all the time. Does anything do that? Split shot, quick shot, crush. It's a buff. Well, I don't think so. I don't think any ability works that way in the game. It's not like there's an impossibility here. It's going to be very easy to do what I want to do. I just wanted to make it even easier than very easy. And I don't think we can make it any easier. Steady shooting is a passive that grants a buff, I'm guessing. Yeah. Okay, fine. Is his name pronounced Mushi? Mushy? Or wait, what's the difference between the second and the third one? But anyway, I'm thinking of it like mushy. Like just the English word mushy. But however people want to pronounce it, they can pronounce it that way. I don't care about a fantasy video game mushroom. Okay, so then it's going to be something that grants a buff, and the buff will get removed as soon as you use your ability, which is like... What is it like? Steady shooting, maybe? Is there no usability here? On damage taken? Mental swiftness? Mental swiftness buff. On used ability. Here it is. Oh, we even know the ability we use. Wow, look at that. Okay, this is going to be good then. Ugh. Mushy. Mushy. Yeah, either one's fine. No lore. I guess I'd say mushy. And I guess you would say mushy. Yeah. Canonical pronunciation guy. Well, now people are going to link to this clip when this game gets billions of players. Okay, so this is going to be... I now have a mental plan for how we're going to code this. It's going to be very similar to Close Call. So we save this as preparedness. Preparedness. All right, now how's this work? plus power and minus cooldown. Plus power and minus cooldown. So power bonuses, cooldown reduction. So 0, 3, and then 6. And this is, we said, I think 30% and 60%. How do you pronounce FFmpeg? Okay, so what I was laughing about, and maybe I shouldn't even be sharing this, but I don't know what a G sounds like in Spanish, but at least in English, there are a couple different ways you can pronounce it. But in peg, for example, it's a G sound, and the way you were saying it was like a rolled sound somehow. But I don't know how to say it, how to describe that better. Anyway, I hope I didn't make you self-conscious. By the way, it was nice to watch your stream. I say watch loosely because I was mostly listening. When I'm working out, I typically have my Pixel Buds in, and then I just leave my phone somewhere. That way I can still hear what someone's saying, but seeing it means I need to like walk back to my phone. All right, this is looking good. So get buff, preparedness buff, I guess. Yeah, sounds fine. And this is going to be very similar to mental swiftness, or at least the buff form of it. So we save this here. Then we need another effect ID. And we just need to track, have you used the very first thing yet? Has used Spore Cloud. All right, so if you've used Spore Cloud, then we don't need to do anything. Or I guess if the ability not equal to Spore Cloud. Yeah, so then here we're going to say this is equal to true. Hey, speaking of G sounds, is it Jerry? Do you think I would know? Or is it Gary? This is reminding me of Parks and Rec. Gary, but with a E. Okay, Gary, but with a E. I will write that down. Pronunciations. Gary. Okay. I'm gonna write that. Your little name card thing too. Nice. Where it can be a bit off. In Spanish, G can have two pronunciations depending on what letter follows. I was gonna say G, even in English, can have a couple of different ones. It can sound like a G, a J. It can be silent, like in night. I can't think if it can have anything else. I guess it can sound somewhat like a J sound, maybe. Well, I can't picture when. Okay, so this or this or this, we're going to return. Otherwise, you mark that you have used it, and then that's it. We just remove the buff. Actually, why don't I do that? Yeah, we don't even need to keep track of this. We can just remove the. You can remove this completely. How do you remove an effect? Or remove effect. There's an echo. Okay, so we can just do that. Remove effect. Or what, battle system not remove effect? There is no remove effect for that. Oh, drat. Okay, it's on the effects component. I guess we need to get that then. Effects component. Get that, and then remove this. And then we don't even need to track this thing. It should only affect one. No, we do need to track this. Yeah. We track whether we've used this, even though it's even though the effect should get removed immediately, just in case this ability can be used twice in the same frame somehow. Might not be necessary. Semitone higher. Yeah, this is C sharp. Oh, I'm just understanding now what you meant by I just got into UE5. You mean like you just started. You were typing in all caps, so I took it to mean that you got like one of their mega grants or whatever that they give out. But now I realize you just had caps lock on. There was no excitement whatsoever. Okay, this is looking good. So as long as we have this buff, then we'll do more damage. We haven't finished writing this stuff out yet, though. All right, and I'm still not sure about the wording of this. Well, let's see. The first spore cloud name used in battle happens after cooldown instead of original cooldown, and gets power. I need to fill something in for that, but I don't know how we format that. So I need to look at what we look at or what we do elsewhere. We don't ever do this, do we? Plus 15% lifesteal. Okay, let's look at that one. Because however we do that. Yeah. So let's see. How does this work? We format with a plus sign in there. This is going to say power bonus. All right. After cooldown. Shouldn't this say? No. It should be fine. I hate this stuff. Cooldown reduction. Yeah. All right. We'll just need to see what this looks like in the game. And this is called what? Preparedness? Okay, so messages.get cooldown header. The cooldown is just a number. So I think 0:0 is what we want. Do we ever show a cooldown difference somewhere else? We do in Crush, for example. Where is it? Here. Cooldown 3S. 2.1S. Relentless Crush. Okay, so we want it to look like that. Okay, well, we're getting there. So cooldown reduction. Okay, now when getting the description, we need to pass in spore cloud name. Spore cloud name. We never do that? How's that possible? Fungal spread name? What? Oh, it's display name. Sure. Well, we should make that consistent, right? Do we use do we use display name or do we use just name more often? Just name. Yeah. So then I should change the other one. Display name. Oh, wait. What am I talking about? We use this all over the place. Well, whatever. Let's delete the word display from this. Same thing here. And delete that. Any others that we can find really quickly that I want to actually change? Shiny loot display name. No, it's all fine. Okay, so Spore Cloud name goes here. We pass it in first. Then we need the cooldown. Cooldown is going to be... Well, we need to get the level of this ability, I suppose. Doesn't this mean I could have changed improved fungal spread to not look stupid? I guess it was never needed for that. Oh, wait a second. Why? We don't even need to say it this way. What am I doing? The first Spore Cloud used in battle happens sooner and gets a power bonus. And with increased power. Yeah, that's it. Just get rid of the variables. That makes it easier. Okay, so Spore Cloud name, that's actually constant. That's fine. We're already done with that. And then original cooldown, we get from sporecloud.data.cooldown. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, now what am I missing? Just this. All right, so I think our ability is written correctly, except that this doesn't show up. How do you get the cooldown of Spore Cloud? Oh, it's hard coded. No. That's too bad. We could just stop hard coding it, or we could pull it from a constant. I say public const flow cooldown equals 7f. And then use that here. And then presumably also use it over here. Yeah. All right, let's just look at this in the game right now because I have... Oh, wait, this is probably going to fail because we don't have the preparedness buff. No, I saved that. No, everything should be working. It just won't modify the damage of Spore Cloud yet. But we should be able to see what this looks like in the game. And there it is. The first Spore Cloud used in battle happens sooner instead of 7. It's not even cooldown reduction, though. That's a problem. It's a time reduction or like first use reduction. Time reduction, maybe? Yeah, power bonus. And sooner instead of after this many seconds. Where does that go? We gotta put an S there. Okay. Yeah, now let's go try modifying Spore Cloud. So when we get the damage, we're gonna multiply this if you have an effect. Is there no has effect on entity? Has effect. Does entity have effect? That's what it is. So if the entity has effect ID dot preparedness buff. Yeah. Then we want to increase the damage by a multiplier based on what exactly? Just the level of the ability. Level equals get level of preparedness. And then multiply the damage by this says power bonus. I should probably change that. All right, so how's this all look? So if you have preparedness, then change the level. Great, whatever. Change the damage. We also need to modify the cooldown. So there's a get cooldown function. And there's get cooldown for tooltip. That doesn't matter, thankfully. I don't know what order this happens in, but it shouldn't matter. Okay, so cooldown is going to be equal to whether or not you have this ability. Oh, drat. That's a constant. This shadow's a variable. Yeah, I even wrote that there, that it shadow's a variable. Or the linter wrote that there. Okay, so we'll just say original cooldown. And write that for that one. And that means that the buff is going to need to change. So this says original cooldown. Or base cooldown's probably better. Yeah, let's rename that. Base cooldown. And then here we set the cooldown equal to the base cooldown minus the cooldown reduction. And then just say float cooldown reduction equals there. Source. There we go. Okay, let's try it out. Let's hope it works. So remember, this should only work on the very first one used in battle. And it should be fully coded. The odds of it working correctly are probably pretty slim. So we don't even have the ability, so let's just go try it in battle. It should do 38 damage after 7 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The user ability does 38 damage. Is that what I said? Yes. Great. Okay, then we're going to increase this by 1 level. So now after 4 seconds, it should do 38 times 1.3. So it should do 49 damage, but only 4 seconds is how long it should take. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. It did not increase the damage somehow. How did it not increase the damage? Put a breakpoint on this. Oh, I know why. Because they were considered to have used the ability already. Oh, man. I guess we got to change the damage multiplier in usability. So damage multiplier goes there instead. Yeah. Damage multiplier plus equal power bonus. And that should start at 0. All right, that should do it. Let's try that out now. Oh, we know that time was working correctly. We just didn't see the damage working correctly. It should have done 49 damage. So we'll put well, let's put no point into that. Let's just make the instance, and then we'll speed this up, and we should see 38 damage. Yep. Great. So now we're going to start that again, but this time with the ability. Now we should see 49 damage after 4 seconds, like I said. 2, 3, 4. They use it. Does 49 damage. Perfect. And then we put another point into this. Oh, wait, no. Now subsequent one should only do 38. Perfect. And now when we restart the battle, it'll be after 1 second, and it'll do like 60 damage. Great. Wow, that's awesome. Oh, wait. That's bad. Okay, the cooldown is being applied all the time. That's bad. Yeah, we want the cooldown of just the very first one. I don't know what we do about that. Ability system. The ability itself has time elapsed. We need to change that. Can we even do that here? Cannot be used in this context because the set accessor is inaccessible. Private set. Oh, man. All right, well, there's update cooldown. We can just call that. And what does this take in? Just a delta? Delta just needs to be this. And then delete that and delete that. No, wait, no, not like that. This is bad. Yes, no, that's correct. I'm basically doing what Magnetic Bind said in real time. This is really good to test. All right, so remember the first one is the only one that should actually go faster. So it's almost immediate. Then we wait 7 seconds. Yep. Okay, cool. It's working. So now let's remove a point from this. Now it should be after 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4. Nice. And then we wait 7 seconds and it does 38 damage. All right, pretty good. Okay, wow, I like this. This is going very well. Yeah, it's going very well. Looks good. Looks good. I should read the tooltip one more time. Just make sure that's bulletproof. But yeah, everything's looking fine here. I should probably write inside the new preparedness buff. This probably isn't needed. This probably isn't actually needed. Well, I'll say it this way. It's definitely not needed now because we have an animation time. But if we ever change that in the future, it could be needed. And I said look at the tooltip again. So let's read the tooltip again. And I won't block this with my dumb body. Okay, the first spore cloud used in battle happens sooner instead of after 7 seconds and with increased power. Time reduction, power bonus. Yeah, I think this is pretty clear, right? So this means it can happen at 1 second and with more power. Yeah. Okay, let's check that in. Should spore cloud be highlighted? Oh, you're right. All of these should have been. Good call. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, like this is what we do for every other ability. We highlight them in green, and I just didn't do that. Okay, so we're gonna say add preparedness ability. And now let's go fix what Kevin just mentioned. Okay, so let's look at mental swiftness because this does this. It is format skill name is what we need to call. And now we need to look through every single ability we just made. Which ones are broken? Fungal spread is broken. Fungal spread. Spore cloud name. Format skill name. And what's the argument there? No, there's no argument. That's fine. Okay, someone's done. Next up is preparedness and then oh, that's not even the right thing. Oh my god. Everything's wrong. Here. And then improved fungal spread needs to do this. Oh, also this has display name in it. It shouldn't have display name in it. It should be name. I guess we rename this too. And then rename the entire thing to be improved. Wow. Oh, okay, that fixed 4 problems. Yeah, so now Spore Cloud is highlighted in green. It is here too, and then this is highlighted. And it is now given the right name. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Big skill names. Some weren't colored green, and improved fungal spread was missing the improved. Should be pretty straightforward. Yeah. Okay, so this one's done. Now we have Dying Blow. Use Spore Cloud upon death. All right, so the usage of this is easy enough to do. The problem is we need to get this to happen before death. Do we have anything like that in the game right now? I don't think so. I think base ability just does something on death. Wait, abilities don't even do that. It's effects. Effect has on death. That might be okay to do it then. Oh God. Oh God, what is this? This isn't good. Oh no. Remove effect. Oh, this is gonna hurt revival. Oh, this is really gonna hurt. Okay, yeah. Reviving is gonna be really annoying to do. Um on death right now, we call, where is that? Remove all of it's only one place, right? When you remove the effect from, no, when you remove the component. Or when you remove dead battlers in the battle system. All right, let's get a link to that. Battlesystem.cs. Was that line 528? Yeah, right there. Remove all effects, which will make it so that abilities like, what is it even called? Dying Blow won't work after revival. Oh, this is going to be a mess. Just a mess. What did I want to do? I wanted to remove all of the ephemeral abilities or effects. Oh, man. We don't run this when they're dead, do we? Where's process? This isn't even right. I need the effect system. If the entity is dead, we just continue. So why would we remove these? Isn't there something like take extra damage from this? How does this thing work? On ally about to take damage. Isn't this only if you're alive? Get allies? Get friendly targets? Get targets. Is this only living one? Filter living battlers, yeah. Okay, so then that technically shouldn't work anymore. I think this means the paladin could technically take damage on the frame that they die if they get hit by 2 sources, but I don't think that matters. So we just shouldn't call that for anybody? But then any buffs that you had should get removed. Could just not call this. Then you'll get revived with power / dodge / whatever buffs still. Which would be weird. We should probably mark buffs with whether or not they persist through death. Do we not have this already? It'd be nice if we did. I don't think we would have had a reason to do it. No, we don't. We have buff and debuff. Okay, well, what we could do is we could have buff that persists through death and then just buff that doesn't persist through death. And same thing with debuff, although none of the debuffs would persist through death, so we don't even need to differentiate there. Could just have an, oh wait, that's probably stupid. Yeah, because we might actually look for the certain effect type being buff in some places. Oh wait, do we just never do this? What is this used for? Oh god, yeah, we just never do this. This ability's not in the game. We don't ever care about effect type anywhere. Yeah, we just specify it in a bunch of spots. Only to never use it. Wait, is there really nowhere that we use this? It certainly seems that way. Wow. We truly do not. Yeah, that's everything. We literally never read this value. So the thinking that led to this, I remember what it was. We originally thought enemies will have abilities themselves, and yeah, maybe you'd want some like cleanse debuff. But then I realized that there's already enough happening during a battle where you're not going to pay attention to like, oh, my adventurer got poisoned. If only they had cleansed it or something. I thought it would just complicate things. But then boss battles turned into that, and we just haven't made more bosses than the 2 that we have in the game so far. So I could see this going either way. But I don't think we should change effect type. I think it should just be buff or debuff. I think what we should do is categorize it somehow of does this persist through death? And there are very few that need to persist through death. Actually, that's not true. In fact, let me look at effect ID and see what is that true for. This is false, 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 true, true, true. False, false. Yeah, okay. Hmm. Well, we're not technically there yet, but it was something to think about. So this has to be an effect, and this has to persist through death. And it's going to be that when you die, you use an ability again. Okay. Do we ever use this right now? What do we do on death right now? Bursting Horde is what we use. Oh, that's perfect then. That's exactly what I want. Something like an I persist through death effect interface, or do we not have the instance? We could do something like that. I was thinking just a Boolean would be fine in the effect. This is bad in case we ever search for buffs and then have to search for buff and buff persisting through death. All right, well, let's go code our ability that we know we wanted to code. So Dying Blow. Ability ID. All adventurer data. Okay, so this is going to be something granting an on death effect. So it's going to be very similar to Close Call, I guess. And this is called Dying Blow. We could probably come up with a more mushroom themed thing for that, but I'm not going to change it now. This is Dying Blow. And how does it work? Use Spore Cloud upon death. This is with the assumption that you might die like once or twice per battle. I guess that's still helpful. Yeah. So we just don't have anything special here. Max level is 1. Get buff is going to be Dying Blow buff. The description is going to be return messages.get description. And we're going to pass in the Spore Cloud name. Spore Cloud name. Format skill name. Spore Cloud name. Then that's going to be... It should know how to do this. Yeah, good. And we don't need anything else there. And what's the description? Use Spore Cloud upon death. Upon dying, use Spore Cloud name. Yeah. Okay. So now we just need to code this. This is going to be similar to this, except for it's not going to have a proc interval. It's just going to exist for good. Sure. It's just an effect. It is a new effect ID that I never coded. That's all fine. It's considered a buff. It has no time span. Has no proc. Just has an on death. And on death in this case, oh, we get rid of this too. On death in this case, it's going to be use the ability. How do we do this? I've done this in the past, but I don't remember where. I think we just called use on something, don't we? Yes, we do. Well, that's nice. I'm glad we have precedence for this stuff. So I don't need to come up with it myself. So all we need to do is get the ability, which is what? Spore Cloud ability? Spore Cloud. And then we just use it. And then delete all of this. All right. Okay, yeah, not bad. So let's try that out in the game. Gonna need to run .NET format at the end of all this stuff. Out of curiosity, wonder how many people are on the Steam page right now. 3. That's too bad. Let's take a look. How many people are playing the game? 3. Although number of claims has gone up by 20, and number of lifetime unique users has gone up by 8. Oh well, stats are not great during Next Fest right now. And if they haven't picked up now, right now, people are just getting off of work on Eastern time. So in about an hour, I would expect that they're going to start gaming, or yeah, something like that. It's just a gross generalization. And then maybe the stats will pick up a little bit, but I kind of doubt it. I think Skeleseller is just kind of buried on Next Fest. Okay, let's look at their new ability. Dying Blow. Upon dying, use Spore Cloud. Okay, so how do we test this? How do we test it indeed? We give the mushroom basically no life. Gamers assemble! Only that's all you needed to do. All right, so we set the life value to a really, really tiny amount. So they should pretty much have 1 life. Actually, they might not even have 1 at that point. Let's set it to that. So this is 1/100th of whatever their life value is right now, which is 142. So they'll have 1 life. And then we... all enemy data. Then we make it so the bats have a lot of life. And do 2 damage. Okay, that should do it. So that'll make it so that the mushroom dies as soon as they're targeted. And if they have the ability, then they'll use it. I wonder what happens if you win the fight by doing that. All right, so I'm not giving them the ability, so they won't do anything. But we're going to put them into a battle like so. So this character will die. Nothing will happen. We should never see the number 38 print out. Poor mushroom. I never looked at their death animation until now. All right, so that's with them dying. Now we try this and do that same battle. And now as soon as they die, the bat, they did take 38 damage, but there's no animation to do. So we should probably change that a little bit. Spore Cloud, because we just call use, which calls usability, which starts the animation, but this actually isn't going to be used in that case. We could just what could we do? Oh, this waits for 0.4 seconds. God. We just want to do this stuff. But even the damage multiplier should be calculated by using the ability. Use calls usability. Usability has a damage multiplier because they might die before preparedness ever kicked in. Oh, that means an enemy has to attack faster than 1 second. I'm debating on how important it is to stay absolutely true to the skill descriptions here for scenarios that'll probably never matter. So the short story is the mushroom has an ability saying the first spore cloud does plus X% damage. It's possible the mushroom dies before getting to use that. And we're coding dying blow right now, which is use spore cloud when dying. So like it should be affected by the plus X% damage. But will anyone ever notice that it's not affected by that? I guess they don't need to die within the first second. They could die within the first 4 seconds. And that is possible. Although unlikely. But yeah, you could have them be level 2 and send them into a battle they shouldn't be in. All it changes is we have to move something somewhere else. Or we just pass in a Boolean saying whether to skip the animation time. That makes it easy. Let's do that. Skip animation. Then we have to make this public as well. Yeah. All right, so don't skip the animation here. Pass that down to this, skip animation. It's funny that there's play attack animation that has skip animation. It's actually like skip delay for animation, I guess. I'll just rename it afterward. If skip animation. All right, now we rename this to what? Skip delay. And everything should get renamed. Skip delay. Okay, that looks good. So all that is to say that we change this now, instead of use to be use ability, which for some reason doesn't exist. Oh, because it's an active ability. It needs to be cast to spore cloud. T : base ability. So spore cloud. Does this even work? It does. Okay. Damage multiplier. Where do we get that from? 1. Why is that even passed in? Oh, because of that. Skip animation here should just be if we already skipped the animation getting into this thing. Like if the character is dead. I guess we'll just always say false. And here we'll pass in a damage multiplier of 1. Okay, let's try that. So now as soon as the mushroom dies, you should just see those spores show up on the enemy. I need to unlock it. There we go. All right, let's, who do we put in here? The paladin. Sure. Okay, yeah, it worked. Demo's prompting me to use Alt F4 to exit. You can press escape. It's just, it doesn't ever tell you you can do that. I didn't even look at this. Yeah, all right. Looks good. Any errors by calling this? No, those already existed. All right, so I think that's it for Dying Blow. Let's remove a point from there and try this again. I need them to attack the mushroom. There, yeah, I didn't do anything. Okay, and then let's also put a point into something else here. Oh, well, less than 25% health. That's technically true if you're dead, right? So now it should do more damage? No, it didn't. Why? That's weird. They didn't implement. Oh, I thought you were talking about Skeleseller. Sorry. You're playing the train game. I don't understand. Why didn't close call work? Oh, because your buffs are removed when you're dead? Oh, God. Man. Well, we're going to get rid of the concept of that from happening, so I guess let's just ignore that for now. What about this other one? Preparedness. This is going to get removed too, so this won't matter. But this would need to happen within 4 seconds, so the first attack needs to hit the mushroom. It didn't. We needed to. That one did do 49 damage. I guess because it's not coded as an effect. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll just write it this way. Once close call... No, it's not even close call. Once preparedness... No, it is close call. Once close call persists through death, I think it'll affect dying blow. It doesn't at the time of writing this. Well, this isn't... It is technically a race condition right now, but it's eventually just going to not exist as a race condition anymore. Like, what's happening right now is the adventurer dies, it clears their effects, and then they deal the dying blow. In the future, we just won't clear effects. So there won't be anything to race anymore. We just had no reason to do this up until now. At least, I don't think so. But yeah, the other way we could fix this is by just moving this up a line. They deal dying blow before we clear the effects. But then instead of an on death, we need like an on before dead. Do we have that? No. Also, what is this? Oh, interesting. This isn't even reviving. Very interesting. Do I have this written down in some issue somewhere? Oh, hey, look at that. I had that written down. Code effects is persisting through death. And make sure we don't subscribe to on died twice in a battle. Okay. Probably need ally came to life to be called again. Not even probably. Need that to be called. Yeah. Or else the cleric will still be targetable. Or could be targetable. All right, let's check this in. Looks good. Get rid of this. And get rid of this. All right, now let's look at that one more time. Yeah. I should read the tooltip again. But yeah, this is looking good. Tooltip says, upon dying, use Spore Cloud. Couldn't be simpler. Don't need to read anything more than that. Hey, Goose, how's the bike? Oh, nice. 6 miles. That's the one? Wait a second, what? Oh, wow. I wonder why they did that. Imagine measuring distance with miles. I just did. I did more than imagine. If you push me any further, I'll measure the distance in degrees Fahrenheit. Add dying blow ability. Note that this does not benefit from, what's it called? Close call. Even though you should be at less than 25% life when dead. Because we remove all effects from dying entities. that'll get changed when we handle revives. How do we feel about people that measure distance and time? It's not where, Constable, it's when. Food measurements? Yeah, we need standardization there. I think the rest of the world does what, per 100 grams of something? So that you can't hide something behind, like, was it like Tic Tac nutrition info? Doesn't it say Tic Tacs have no sugar even though they're practically 100% sugar? Yeah, 0 grams. Actually, do these exist in outside of the US? Because someone outside of the US would have to have the proper nutrition facts, right? How do you find that? Tic Tacs in Spain. Uh, at least from the like the zoomed out photos, the ones I can read. I can't find this. Oh, here we go. 95 grams of carbs. Yeah, this one's ridiculous, right? Out of 100 grams, it's 95% carbs, which is probably almost entirely sugar, right? But you'd think, oh, it's just nothing in the US. Where's the they don't have to break it down? Oh, 90% sugar. Okay, yeah. So like 5% of that 95% is not sugar. Yeah, this is crazy. Like I don't think this should be allowed. Oh, that even says it's 94%. Although maybe that's for the particular flavors or something. Well, I guess this is approximately anyway. But yeah. Yeah, I don't think that should be allowed. Because I don't think it's unreasonable to think that they did get it down to 0 grams of sugar. Like there are all these sugar substitutes now. So it's possible that you could buy some Tic Tacs and have it be 100 grams of Tic Tacs and have it be 0 grams of sugar. Probably be bad for you anyway, but at least it wouldn't contain sugar. I guess they wouldn't be lying. Got to take into consideration the serving size. No, what I'm saying is Tic Tacs are at least marketed such that regardless of the serving size, it says 0 grams of sugar in the US. It's not even looking at the serving size that makes them matter. If they said it's 0.002 or something, then yes, you could look at the serving size and be like, oh, okay, I got to multiply by 500 or whatever. Also recommended serving size. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what's the next thing we have to do? Upon dying, increase the power of allies. I mean, look, really, what we should probably work on is this. This is the most important thing. How much time have I been streaming for, though? Because we might need to do our oh hi test. Yeah, I've been streaming for a long enough time. Okay, let's try it. Let's go to oh hi. Let's click today's puzzles 8, and let's see how long it takes. And then base that on whether, whoops, I shouldn't be talking as I'm doing this. Base that on whether I should be working on this feature. So this is my proxy test for whether I have the brain power to focus. And yeah, so far, fine. But let's see. All right, there. Hmm. Hmm. I mean, so far, fine. Do we have that? No. That. Where is that? There we go. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. So a minute in 4 seconds. What's the average? 50. So we're off by 14 seconds. So my brain power is reduced by 28%. ABC. What does the thing do? That's binary Sudoku. But I'm using it as a measure for like, is my brain in order? Because after programming for like 4 or 5 hours, I think my ability just drops off. 28 seconds is probably indicative that we should, or not, sorry, 14 seconds is probably indicative that things are maybe fine, but that we should work on something a little bit simpler. So yeah, let's get Invigorate done. And then I'll save these two for Monday probably. So we'll have done 8 abilities. Let's modify the journal. Got 8 abilities of 10 done. I'm saying that prematurely. We're only at 7 right now. But we're still going to code the next one. Invigorate. Okay, what does it do? Upon dying, increase the power by X% of Y random allies. Okay, so Y should never be more than 3. If we have 2 levels of this ability, we could say X is, or like, I guess power is 0%, 10%, 20. And number of allies is 0, 2, 4. That might be too much. You figure out how far off you are. Yeah. I mean, I should really track it myself now that I think about it. Like, I should make it a habit of doing that every day at like 9 a.m. and every day at 3 p.m. and see how much they differ by. And after enough trials, you should have a pretty good idea of how long it really takes you to do that stuff. Because I do think this idea is very valuable. If you have a test that normally takes 1 minute to do, and it takes you 2 minutes when you do it, and that on its own proves that, like, you should probably tackle some easy stuff. Like, why don't you email people, or why don't you, fill out a spreadsheet instead of why don't you code? I think that's important. You could basically cut down the number of bugs you make just with that test. So you know what? Why don't we start this now? Rather than say that I should do it, let's just go do it. Let me find this. Adam learns. New folder. What do you even call this? MISC. Okay, now new spreadsheet. All right. Oh, hi. Times. Date, time, size. Well, this is time of day. And this is puzzle time. All right, so date, time, size was 8. Puzzle time was 64 seconds. Then do this and this. Cool. Okay, so we got to do this all the time. We got to figure out, how does this change? This is considered an afternoon time. I imagine the morning times are going to be better. By the way, for anyone who wants that site, because I think it is a fun thing to play. Also, the today's puzzles are the same for everybody. But if you go into free play, you can play as many of the randomized 8 puzzle ones you want. And you can try bigger ones if you really want to see. I haven't played this version so much, so this is the average. It's showing me 4 minutes and 57 seconds. But that could be over 2 puzzles or 5 puzzles or something, but probably not a lot. Need some box plots there once you have some data. That'd be a good video experiment. I really should actually consider doing this pretty much every day. Consider playing Oh Hi, using it as a test. Can make a video on this eventually. Where'd the spreadsheet go? Give me a sec. Here it is. Okay, so power-wise, this has to happen when you die, when this character dies, which again, we're going to assume is going to happen once or twice per battle, maybe. So this probably could be very powerful. And this is fighting for a skill point with Dying Blow, which is upon dying, do more damage than the other characters in your party are going to do anyway. And we can code this and then think about the numbers. I don't need to do that right now. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so what is this similar to? I guess it's similar to Dying Blow. Something's happening when you're dying. So this is going to be called what? Invigorate? Max level 2. Well, the max level can come from the number of bonuses that we have. So that's power bonuses. And then list num allies. Num allies is 2 and then 4. Power bonus is, let's say, 1 and then 2. Whoops. So 10% and 20%. This is now going to be turned into power bonuses.count -1. All right, so what's the description of this? Upon dying, increase the power. All right, so we don't need this here. We do need a table, though. Yeah. This should be invigorate. So this is power bonus and then num allies header. Okay, the description is upon dying, increase the power of num allies, or like allies text. Allies label. Allies by power bonus. Oh, for some amount of time. I didn't think of the time. We could make that a variable too. You could say like the time goes to 3 seconds and 6 seconds or something. But I think let's just make the time constant and let's have it be, I don't know, 5 seconds for duration. Yeah. All right. Public const float duration 5. Put that up here. Okay, let's go do all this. So number of allies is like that. Allies. Then this stuff is going to be format number. Wait. I don't need to do that, do I? Increase the power of some allies? Of your allies for some duration, yeah. I keep messing this up and making this harder on myself. Hey, Jerbeck, how you doing? We are making the mushroom adventurer today. Okay, so all we need is the duration here then, which is this. Format number. Do we bold the S when we're formatting a number? And did I do that correctly over here? Oh God, I did not. Oh man. It's been a long time. All right, where do we show any duration? There it is. It is bolded for that. Where else do we use? I guess a witch doctor, poisonous skin. Yeah, it's bolded. So I just mentioned that I messed this up, right? I messed it up in preparedness. Now that sounds exciting. It is pretty nice to be working on something new again. All right, original cooldown. This whole thing is supposed to be formatted as a number. A number. Yay. Cannot convert from float to string. This isn't even right. The whole thing should have been... Oh, God, this is stupid. Okay, let me think about this. That. And then we get rid of the S from over here. Okay, so that fixes that problem. Now this one is supposed to be duration seconds, like so. Yeah. Does this work yet? Yeah. Missing a parenthesis. Where? Oh. Okay, so now all we need to do is code the invigorate buff and then make sure the tooltip looks good. Okay, that should be simple, right? Wait, why is this even a thing? Oh, because it's granted on death. And what did we just do that's granted on death? Dying blow buff? All right, effect ID. All right, so we're just saving this off. And then on death, what this is going to do is grant your allies a buff. And that means we need to do battle system.get allies. This return a number of them? Returns all of them? I don't want to do that. Get friendly targets? Ah, there we go. All right, so of the affected entity, we want to get some number of these. So let's get the level of this. Hey, Grills. Here, ask yourself, selling skeletons is really good business. Seems like a niche market. Oh, trust me, necromancers are dying for these things. Saves them so much on spellcasting costs. Get level of ability for entity. Cool. So now we need to get the number of allies and the power bonus. Easy peasy. Now we get the number of allies from here. These need to be not dead ones. And I think that should work. And then the power bonus, so now we iterate over all of these. Var foo equals this. Let's set this to whatever it's supposed to be. There we go. So this is going to be the allies. Make it a read-only list, but import this thing. Skeletons are through the roof. They're 6 feet under. Node, ally, and allies. Okay, so we want to add a buff to them. I don't remember how to do this, but if we just search for power buff, it should be pretty easy. And then a parenthesis even. Hey, look at that. Easy. Okay, so the source is, I think, the first one. Affected, and no, the source is the second one. All right, so the affected one is that. The source is the one casting this. The increase amount is there, and the duration is invigorate.duration. Then we add this to the ally. All right, not too bad. Now, why is this a problem? Can't convert float to int. It's really an int. I mean, do we have a problem if I just make it an int? I think it's going to complain. It takes a list of t of values. Yeah, I think that needs to be a float. Okay, well then let's go change that back to a float. Just makes things easier. Just entire 5 minutes of skeleton puns. I've been thinking about open mic night for a while now. I think it is firmly in midlife crisis territory for me. I'll try stand up if in another like 10 years game dev hasn't worked out or I'm bored sitting on my piles of riches from selling so many skeletons. People are knocking on my door. I'm like, oh, another 6 skeletons I gotta sell. That's what I'm gonna do open mic night. All right, so this just gets converted into an integer. And that's that. There's no indication that this did anything. There should probably be some kind of effect. Maybe we should say plus power or something on them. Yeah, I think that would be good. Doesn't rage do that? Crush, rage. And there's some floating text. Here it is. All right, so what's this called? It's called invigorate. I don't think we can write the word invigorate over everybody. That's too much text. What color should this even be? Oh, drat. Come on, really? Fine. Okay, so what do we say here? Invigorate text plus power? I don't know. Yeah, bigger would work. Yeah, I guess we don't ever say, we could say invigorated. Just make it the longest possible string. I would be very intrigued to see, does this work the first time around? So here's our little mushroom guy. Look at him walking through town. And now we're going to give him a point in invigorate. It just says power bonus 2. What? That means I messed that up. What? We didn't even show the ally thing here. Oh, whoops. Get num allies header. Well, that was a mistake. Let's try that again. Tooltip is just already broken. All right, I'll do it like this. Upon dying, increase the power of your allies for 5 seconds. Number of allies, 2 or 4, 10% or 20%. Okay, so let's put a point in that. We can't do this without changes to this. So we need all enemy data. Let's go to the volcano. 4 adventurers. My guy should die. Yeah, I don't need to change anything else. So when the mushroom dies, it should give 2 other adventurers a power buff. So let's put the rogue into the battle to make it obvious. Okay, so mushroom. Oh, the rogue is named Mushroom. Oh man, I forgot I left that in. I was just testing to see how long the word would be, but I checked it in like that. Quite funny. All right. Let's see how this works. So this character dies and the rogue should go up to doing more damage. We see vigor there. It didn't actually increase because there's only a 10% difference. So it went from 3 to 3.3. So the way we'll be able to tell is if we change invigorate to just grant more. So let's have it be a 100% change. And then a 200% change. Technically 110%. So now instead of going to 3.3, it'll go to 6.6. So it'll say 7, I think. Oh, I want the rogue. All right, so they're doing 3. My character should die. Good. Now they're doing 6. Why doesn't that say 7, though? Shouldn't it be... It's probably because the rogue isn't actually doing 3 damage. It's probably being rounded up. Anyway, not worth being concerned with. And then let's try putting one more point into it and repeating that battle. Now the rogue should go up to doing crazy amounts. 9. They can't ever win the fight this way. But actually, wait, what if I put points in all this other stuff? Just get points in every single ability. So now I think they actually will win the fight. Because now I think the mushroom is overpowered. It's close. They still lose. But if I give them even just one level up, then what? Does that work? Do they win now? Still no. What about one more level up? I'm just curious. Oh, actually, no, they died. At what point do we win this? I know it's overpowered. Yeah. And it's especially overpowered when I'm giving them like way more skill points than they should have. So they're using that ability even when they're dead. That definitely, that shouldn't be the case. It should just happen automatically. Okay, there. Now they're guaranteed to win, right? That's too much damage at this point. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what it took, is getting to level 4. All right, well, I think we need to fix another little issue here. Should not have an animation delay. Oh man, how do I want to do this? When dead, and what is it called? Fungal spread is activated. It looks weird. Can you win the battle and be dead? I wonder how that works. You would have died. Yeah, I wonder how that works. Huh, how do we test that? I guess let's set this back to normal. And let's go into all adventure data and give you a crazy amount of power. So now the bat will kill the mushroom in one hit. The mushroom will counterattack and they'll both die. Who wins? I don't know the answer to this. Oh, it doesn't do the damage because you're already dead. We back, boys. Hey, Jay. Happy just shy of 5 years. Thank you for the resub. Side thought, wouldn't players be incentivized to stack points on death buff and then just focus on leveling the rest of the party first? Well, remember the death buff itself requires you to have the points. So you'd have to be level 4 to get 2 skill points. And then there's no guarantee you can even get that skill at level 4. So as an example here, I already unlocked everything. But let's take the paladin as an example. I leveled them up to level 4 or 5. They can only get these 3 skills anyway. So it would need to be one of the ones in the first 3 slots. But assuming it is, then yeah, you'd get a buff for that. And yeah, that I'd guess be a strategy. But it's only for 5 seconds. So is it better to have a buff on your party members for 5 seconds, or is it better to just swap them out for, let's say, the mage or something? But those are the things that I think are interesting enough decision points. So like, I don't think this is worth doing anything about or trying to change too much. Yeah, EJ, I just normally what I would do is I would go to gameicons.net and I would try to find a placeholder. So I'd be searching for like, okay, what fits for the mushroom character, and I download these and I put them in and I have to delete them from the code base, and there's just no reason. I'll just use the placeholder thing. I like that way better. Yeah. Also, it's very obvious when you see this in the UI that it needs to change. Whereas when you see this in the UI, it's like, well, that's a good enough icon. Maybe it was the real icon. I mean, it never really matches, but it's way more obvious when it's Atom art. And then yeah, for part of the cleanup, I should probably make a bunch of icon files that point at Atom art. That way, Quickie Joe can just drop in the new ones. How's everything going, EJ? What is new in your life? Did I check in the 009? But yeah. Okay, let's go review the code. I do think this is underpowered now. I think increasing the power of your party members should probably be for at least like 10 seconds if we're going to do that. Or 7 even, something like that. But you're giving 2 party members a 10% buff. So assuming you picked your 2 best party members, you're getting a 20% buff for 7 seconds. I just don't think that's all that interesting. I think we should increase this to like 20% and 40%. And then I think that's too powerful, so we put this back to 5 seconds. So now you could get upwards of a 160% buff for 5 seconds. Yeah. Good, chilling, can't complain. How'd Next Fest go? Next Fest didn't go great, but I have processed it. I was very down the last few days. But yeah, I'm feeling good today. I think Next Fest is just another marketing tool. If your game takes off through it, then good for you. If not, then you're in my boat. We got more wish lists than normal. So a normal day before Next Fest was probably like +5 wish lists, maybe even less than that. And during Next Fest, it's been +75. So it's like a 15x rate of wish listing. But our rate was already pretty low to begin with. So it's like if you had 1 wish list per day and went up to 10, you'd be like, oh my God, it's 10 times the amount. But it's not that much in the grand scheme of things. It is something. Yeah. It is something. I was expecting there to be more like, let's say we search for Skeleseller, that there'd be more people playing. This person's playing Skeleseller with their 1 viewer. I should definitely check out their stream and see. Let me copy this, I guess. They're actually changing the category. That's pretty good. Check out this person's stream to see if they played Skeleseller. Anyway, yeah, you can see in the past videos there are only three streams here, and 2 are from the same person who had already streamed it nicely a while ago, Boomer Tester in chat. The problem that I've seen with a lot of these is that people are streaming under games and demos, and they don't change the titles of their stream, or if they do, they change them temporarily, and then there's no way for me to know that they did stream Skeleseller. So it's possible that like 10 streamers covered this, and I'd love to see their feedback, but I have no idea how we'd find it. Like, how do you know that this person didn't just play this like 10 minutes ago? They never changed their category. And it's just such a shame because they probably have really good insights into the game. I don't know why I scroll down through this like I'm expecting to see someone play Skeleseller. They're not going to be. In fact, I can tell you how many people are playing right this instant. 2. Yeah. All right, I'm glad we tackled this ability because we got this done. I looked at the tooltip already and it's fine, right? Yeah. Okay, so we did fix some other little things that I should check in. Preparedness. Fix bolding on preparedness. The S wasn't bold. And then all adventurer data. Fix rogue's name. Rogue's name isn't Mushroom. Okay, and then checking in Invigorate. Which looks pretty good. Wait, what happened here? What did happen here? Hold on a second. That changed back to Mushroom? Did I check in the wrong thing? No, I did not. Okay. Short-term expectation based setback only. Yeah. Well, the reason I was so down at first is because I was like, oh, if Next Fest isn't helping, then the dream is dead. That was my original conclusion. And then I realized it's not over. I got to reach out to more influencers. I got to try to find if there's an audience for this. I got to run ads, etc. So I'm going to start ramping up on that stuff. How much you were kind of betting on it? Yeah. I definitely thought it would bring in more people. And I thought too that there'd be more content than I'd be able to consume. There'd be like, 7 streams per day of people playing Skeleseller. Not because they were like, oh man, this is the greatest game or something, but just because I didn't expect there to be so much other content that people are working through. And I knew that Next Fest had a lot of games, but yeah, I thought there'd be more interest. Discovery is hard. And I've shown this on stream earlier, but if you were looking for Skeleseller, it's hard to find it. So you go to genre simulation, you're like, oh, I heard there's someone made some management simulation game. And it's like on page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like you go through 30 or so pages of this. I thought I saw it. I didn't. This is the how quickly can you spot the Skeleseller logo. This is the real Next Fest best game. I've clicked a bunch of times. It should be here somewhere. I think this is semi-random too, though. Although I haven't seen it, so I must have missed it there. I also didn't even see the scroll bar at the bottom. Yeah. Okay, so checking all this stuff except for here. Add invigorate ability. Number of games is overwhelming. Yeah, it is. So that I don't mess this up, let's publish this branch before I forget. Yeah, there we go. Only takes one person to try to get admin gold. I think that's the wrong way to look at it, but it is true. If someone with 30,000 viewers loves your game and plays it on stream a bunch of times, then yeah, probably you'll get a nice boost from that. But I don't think that's something you can count on. So the stuff that is in my control is reaching out to a bunch of people who are more likely to play the game and make videos on it. And someone mentioned in chat earlier, but we'll probably start seeing some Skeleseller videos over the weekend once people get through Next Fest and then start editing their videos maybe. So I don't see any new ones now, except for the people who streamed on Twitch and exported to YouTube. Watching this person play was fun, by the way. They enjoyed the game. They were reading stuff. It was nice. Okay, so invigorate is dead. So the last two, or sorry, done, not dead. The last two things we need to do. So still to do this. Get revives to work. Make heart of the forest. And make frenzy. Yeah. Okay, so if all we did next week is focus on adventurers, today we got done with 9 abilities. and we have 21 more abilities to do across 3 adventurers. No, we didn't get done with 9. We got done with 8, so we have 22 more abilities. So it should take us roughly 3 more days. But I'm fine with it taking the whole week. I need to be careful about this stuff. That would be all of the adventurers for launch would then be in the game. Because yeah, content-wise, we wanted 3 more adventurers, a bunch more bosses. We could probably work on the bosses the next week, maybe. And then what do we need to do? We need to figure out the reusing areas thing on the map. Yeah. Content was 3 more adventurers. What, 4 more bosses? 4 to 5 more bosses. More items. More perks. And then at some point we need to trim the demo. Oh, when is the content done? Yeah, I think launching in September is possible. But this is why I think marketing needs to be the backbone of everything that I do now. For a while, it was triage stuff, and we got the to-do list a lot smaller than it started. I've got all the numbers here. At the beginning of May, we were at 78,000 characters or whatever. And now, a month later, we're at 24,000. So we cut it into about a third. It's probably risen since I've been typing a bunch of stuff at the top of here. We could find out. We are at 25,000, yeah. Anyway, not too terribly bad. Yeah. Wow. Well, at least we're back on the horse, right? Can't make progress if you're not trying to make progress. And I wasn't trying to make progress the last 2 days. I'm glad we started working on some new stuff again. And I don't even need to do all 3 adventurers at once, but it probably helps to batch them so that I remember all these little techniques that I'm doing. And if we look at the other adventures that I wanted to do, they might not be so bad. Taunt, rock energy. Okay. Yeah, there's some potentially difficult stuff to do with these, but I think they'll mostly be fun. They're like tiny scoped puzzles that we need to figure out. Okay, so let's see if that person that I just looked at here, let's see if they're playing Skeleseller now. Maybe they already have. I don't want to make them stop playing the game they're playing, but if they're willing to, then I would raid them. Hang on, let me find out. Hey, have you already played Skeleseller? I created the game and can raid you if it's still on your schedule. PS can't hear audio since I'm still streaming. Okay. So sorry, I don't play other streamers' content on my stream if I can avoid it, unless I ask them for permission. So this person's playing a game right now. So they have not noticed my message even. But hopefully they notice it. Hopefully they respond. They have not looked over yet. But yeah, all in all, things have been going good. For people who do want to help, I mentioned the wish listing thing on Steam. That's actually not the best way to help. I think the best way to help at this point is just, post about it on Reddit or on Instagram or something, or ask your friends if they've played it or want to play it, and talk to any streamers you might know. So basically, like, help me do marketing. That's pretty much the way. Try this with Shroud next. Well, this person has 1 viewer right now, and they still haven't looked at chat yet. I'll give them another like couple minutes while we just hang out here. And if they don't see my message, I'll probably just find someone else to raid. But yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Monday and everything, and just, checking this stuff out, moving things forward. I guess if you have a solid foundation for your engine and adding changes, that it really shouldn't take too terribly long to put in a lot of the stuff we already have in the game. Like, we're just adding more adventurers, more bosses. We have the systems for all those things. We don't have a system for achievements or challenge modes. I think challenge modes will be tough. Oh, okay, this person's reading my message now. Hopefully they type something. Okay, yes, they're reaching over to the keyboard to type something. Awaiting their response. If they say they've already played, I'll rate someone else. He'll raid you with an insane amount of viewers. Please respond. If you don't respond quick, he'll send all his viewers elsewhere. There's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Oh, streaming it next. I'll ping you once you switch. Okay, cool. So I'll raid this person now. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all being here. We have now changed the course of this, this streamers. They're gonna finish up their game now. There we go. Yeah. All right. I'll catch you all later. Have a good weekend. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for the support. Ciao.